I had an abortion some years ago, when I was 19. Being pregnant was terrifying and there was no one to talk to. I just wanted it over. I had to wait until I was 10 weeks to get the abortion due to money issues. I actually had to wait until my student loan came in to afford it, plus the cost of the flights. Being in a different country for such a huge event in your life makes a difference. Even little things like the nurses not being able to understand my accent at times. It just made me feel more isolated. I left fairly quickly after the operation and extreme cramping started in the taxi on the way to the airport. I was lying on the seats in the airport, doubled over in pain. It was so bad I was scared they weren't going to let me fly. When we landed the plane to Belfast, I had lost a lot of blood. I could feel it soaking through my jeans. But what could I do but wrap my jacket around myself and head for the toilets. In the toilets there was blood everywhere. I was lying on the floor of the cubicle crying. I was scared that this wasn't normal or that something was wrong. But I couldn't go to the hospital because I was scared that they would call the police. I didn't know if I could be arrested for what I'd done.
As a 16-year-old schoolgirl about to sit my O-levels, I fell pregnant due to a very drunken one-night stand at a house party. There was absolutely no question that I could keep the baby. I was still at school. My parents had to borrow the money from a family member so that I could travel to Liverpool to have the pregnancy terminated. My mum and I went by boat to Liverpool, and we stayed in a guest house full of lots of other girls from Northern Ireland in exactly the same situation as myself. 36 years later, I absolutely don't regret the abortion. But what I do regret is that I have to keep it a secret. There's still some of my friends and family members that don't know. And I am made to feel guilty about it by the society in which we live.
I was about to move abroad, and I was seeing this guy. It wasn't really that serious. He knew I was moving. One night, the condom split, and I went to my GP the next day to ask for the morning after pill, and he was totally disgusted. Told me to reconsider. I've never been back to him. He made me feel so awful. I ended up just going and buying it from the chemist, and I thought that was the end of it, but found out I was pregnant. I told the guy, and he told me to get rid of it, and he hung up the phone. Like, I knew I was going to get an abortion. There was no way. Like, I was supposed to be moving, you know, I couldn't have moved abroad, couldn't have took the job. I'd already handed in my notice for my other one, and I rang up a clinic in England and booked myself in. I had to go over by myself. I didn't tell anybody. I was so ashamed. And I told them, I used the excuse that I was going over to see the new employers for 2 days. Walking into that clinic, I have never felt so alone in my life. There were loads of girls there. Some of them were really silent. Some of them were crying. This one girl was completely inconsolable. I was the only one by myself. You have to give like a next of kin, and I lied. I told them that my partner was back at the hotel waiting on me.
The experience was awful. It was lonely and frightening. It was disorientating and exhausting. It was messy and uncomfortable. I felt that every step of the process was designed to make you feel shame and remorse. And to top it all off, I was recovering from my surgery and I had to go through another procedure. But I am lucky. I could afford to travel. I could stay with family and friends in London. I'm confident about flying alone. I can navigate big cities. And I had supportive family and friends I could confide in and ask for help. And thankfully, someone was able to collect me from the clinic after the procedure because I wasn't allowed to travel home alone.
I'm not ashamed, nor do I have any regrets about my decision to have an abortion. I am ashamed that this society allows the viewpoint that this should be a shameful decision to be exported, and that this government propagates this by denying women in NI the services that other UK women can access. I was in college, working 2 jobs, and I had to carry the financial burden on top of an emotional one.